Hello everyone, this is Victor here. Welcome to my channel today. In today's video, I want to share with you why I invested in Snowflake's IPO. Even though IPO companies are generally known to be risky if you don't know what you're investing in, and IPO stocks are always overpriced most of the time. Now, the reason Snowflake IPO is actually the biggest software IPO in history, and it's also the biggest IPO this year in 2020. What is interesting about Snowflake's IPO is that two companies, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway and Salesforce, the largest CRM software company in the world, also invested in Snowflake in a private placement prior to IPO. This gave a huge confidence boost to many retail and institutional investors who also invested in Snowflake. During the IPO, Snowflake was valued at $100 per share. Then on the first trading day, the stock actually jumped as much as 165% to $318 per share. Now, I even woke up very early on the first trading day, and the stock price already went up to above $300 per share when I tried to buy the stock. Just to let you know, I did invest a small amount of money in Snowflake's IPO to test out the stock price because I want to see if the price is indeed way overpriced, and I believe it is so right now. Now, I don't plan to sell any of my Snowflake shares because I believe it's a great cloud-based data warehousing company with increasing revenue growth and increasing customer base. I rarely trade or sell stocks once I invest in them, also because I prefer investing in them for the long term instead of short term. I think most investors invest in IPO stocks because they expect the IPO stock to have huge growth potential and can potentially become multi-baggers, even if the underlying companies are not making any profits yet. Now, personally, I rarely invest in IPO stocks because they are usually much more risky than the well-established companies that have been around for many years. The only IPO stock I invested in before was Alibaba of China, and I've held the stock since it went IPO in 2015. Otherwise, all the other companies I invested in are well-established companies such as Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Mastercard, Visa, PayPal, Tesla, and several other companies. So I don't recommend anyone to invest in IPO stocks unless you actually know what you're investing in, and unless you actually are financially stable enough to handle the risk. Now, I just want to go back to why I invested in Snowflake's IPO. Even though the Snowflake's IPO valuation was initially $33 billion compared to its current market cap of above $63 billion at the time of making this video. Now, if the stock price drops further, I would definitely buy more shares to average out the cost per share. Now, here are the several main reasons I invested in Snowflake's IPO. First, Snowflake, as far as I know, is one of the best cloud-based data warehouse platforms to help many large enterprises and organizations to move their siloed data from the traditional on-premise data centers and the cloud-based repositories to the data cloud. So users such as enterprises, departments within organizations, data analysts, and organizations can easily access and analyze and share data with each other much more effortlessly and efficiently. Right now, most companies' data are stored in silo and legacy data centers, either on site or in their cloud-based platforms that are generally not easily accessible and not easily shareable with other departments or with other organizations. Snowflake solves data silo problems by helping organizations move their data to their data cloud platform. So Snowflake customers can easily access, share, and analyze data without duplicating, replacing, and moving the underlying data between different data silos. This will help many organizations make their data sharing much easier, eliminating many data siloing and data fragmentation problems, and give the organizations much better business intelligence. This also helps many organizations reduce the risk of building and managing their own in-house data centers. Now, according to Snowflake's IPO prospectus, as of July 31st, 2020, the company had 3,117 customers, increasing from 1,547 customers as of July 31st, 2019. Their customers include 7 of the Fortune 10 and 146 of the Fortune 500 companies. This means many of Snowflake's customers are large enterprises. I believe Snowflake's biggest competitive advantage is this. As more customers use Snowflake to move their data to their data cloud platform, it encourages customers to store more data and share more data with other Snowflake customers, either within the same organization or with other organizations. This in effect increases customer storage consumption and data compute usage for Snowflake. Snowflake also encourages more organizations to move from the traditional way of storing their data in their on-premise data centers, which are much more expensive to manage, to Snowflake's cloud-based data warehouse platform, which is much more scalable, easier to manage, and cheaper because customers only pay based on their data storage and their data compute. Another interesting thing about Snowflake is that its data cloud platform uses 3 of the largest public clouds, known as Amazon's AWS, Microsoft's Azure, and Google's cloud platform. I think this is another great competitive advantage because Snowflake customers can easily switch between Amazon's AWS to Microsoft's Azure or to Google's cloud platform. Now, I'm not a data scientist or a data engineer, but I know that it's extremely difficult, expensive, and time-consuming for organizations to move their data from one cloud platform to another. Snowflake's data cloud platform solves many of the data silo problems in many organizations. Now, in terms of revenue growth, Snowflake's revenue growth has been very consistent for the past 8 quarters. The company's revenue grew from $28.68 million to $133.15 million from the quarter ending on October 31st, 2018 to the quarter ending on July 31st, 2020. Now, during the same period, the company's loss per income before income taxes grew from a net loss of $37.15 million to a net loss of $77.1 million. Net losses are usually very typical for most fast-growing companies in their beginning growth stage. The most important thing for fast-growing companies is that they have very consistent revenue growth and increasing customer base. If the company is doing well, it will eventually generate positive net income and positive cash flow from operation each quarter. Now, it's always easier to look at Snowflake's past financial history than trying to predict the company's future. But based on my research of the company, I believe that Snowflake will continue to benefit from the current trend of many organizations moving their data to the public cloud instead of storing their data in their own data centers and their own cloud platforms that are generally much more expensive to manage. Finally, according to CNBC, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway invested $250 million in Snowflake at the IPO price and also bought an additional 4.04 million shares from another shareholder at the IPO price. Salesforce also invested $250 million in Snowflake at the IPO price. Now, Salesforce is actually the largest CRM software as a service company in the world with the largest market share in customer relationship management services. If Salesforce invested $250 million in Snowflake, Salesforce must know something about Snowflake and sees a huge growth potential in Snowflake's cloud-based data warehouse platform. Now, if you're an investor, it's important to understand the risk of investing in any companies. Snowflake's biggest risk is competition from the 3 largest cloud providers, including Amazon's AWS, specifically Redshift, Microsoft Azure, specifically SQL database, and Google Cloud Platform, specifically BigQuery. These cloud providers offer similar data warehousing services with different features and different pricing models. I cannot predict whether Snowflake will become the #1 and the largest cloud-based data warehouse platform in the world, compared to Amazon's Redshift, Microsoft's Azure, and Google's BigQuery. But I believe that Snowflake's iData cloud platform will continue to benefit from the current trend of large enterprises moving their data from the traditional on-premise data centers to the cloud-based data warehouse that are much more scalable, easier to manage, and much more cost-efficient. Now, I also believe that the current cloud-based data warehouse market is big enough for multiple large players, not just Amazon, AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. Now, if you're thinking of investing in Snowflake, just remember to do your own research and understand what you're investing in first. Do not speculate and only invest in what you know. I only invested a small amount of money in Snowflake because I believe that the company's current market cap at $63 billion at the time of making this video is overvalued compared to the company's initial IPO valuation of $33 billion. I will likely buy more Snowflake shares if I see the share price drops further. Now, if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe, and also share this video with your friends. I will post many videos about personal finance and investing that will help you become a great investor. This is Victor from the Intelligent Investor channel. Thank you, everyone.